Hello. Thanks for joining us again on the channel. I've always been curious about this one, and now that a friend picked one up, we can finally talk about it. His experience, start to finish. Quick note before we begin, there's a discount link in the description and the top comment if you want to check it out. Now, let's not waste any more time and jump right into the details.
Let's start by delving into the insights shared by our first reviewer.
This reviewer, a first-time electric bike owner, chose this particular folding bike primarily for its lightweight and compact size, needing something that could easily fit into a car's trunk. Upon arrival, our reviewer noted that the bike was packaged very securely, though assembly presented a minor challenge. While most of it went smoothly, adjusting the front disc brakes required a bit of fiddling for someone unfamiliar with them. Once assembled, the bike was larger than expected for its wheel size, and featured a nice, bright color display that was easy to read even in the sun. On the road, this client found the ride to be surprisingly comfortable, with springs in the seat compensating for the lack of front suspension. The single gear means that pedaling without any electric assistance can feel strenuous at higher speeds, but the pedal assist function works very well, especially for tackling hills. It allows for a good workout without becoming overly exhausting. The folding mechanism itself has a bit of a learning curve and can be awkward, and our reviewer wished for a way to lock the bike in its folded state to make it more manageable. However, the experience was soured by a significant and frustrating flaw. The bike's onboard system has the wheel size programmed incorrectly, which causes both the speedometer and odometer to display inaccurate readings. Unlike older versions, this setting is locked and cannot be changed by the user. When our reviewer contacted support, the response was unhelpful and their explanation felt like an excuse to avoid addressing the problem, leaving a major mark on an otherwise decent commuting machine.
Cool. Let's uncover what our next reviewer has to say.
This reviewer, with decades of experience in the bicycle industry, found the overall build of this folding electric bike to be quite impressive. They noted the good quality components and felt that significant value and thought went into its design and construction. However, our reviewer strongly cautions against a quick 10-minute assembly right out of the box. They emphasize that for anyone planning to ride on public streets, a more diligent and thoughtful setup is essential. This client discovered several areas that required immediate attention from someone with a bit of mechanical know-how. The steering bearings, for example, were excessively tight and needed adjustment to ensure the fork could turn smoothly. During this thorough inspection, a number of smaller assembly issues came to light. The seat clamp was misassembled on its post and had to be taken apart and straightened. A mounting bolt for the fender was too short and had to be replaced. Furthermore, the reviewer found that nearly every bolt needed to be checked for proper tightness and lubricated, as parts like the pedal threads were completely dry. Some fixes were more involved, such as correcting a badly dragging front brake disc caused by poor caliper alignment, a task they'd recommend leaving to a bike shop for those unfamiliar with the process. Even the brake levers were so over-torqued from the factory that a bolt head stripped during adjustment. Ultimately, the message is that while this electric bike is a fundamentally solid machine, its potential is best realized after a careful and knowledgeable setup to correct these factory assembly oversights. After making the necessary adjustments, the experience has been positive.
All right, let's find out what our next reviewer has to share.
This reviewer immediately noticed how well this electric bike was packed upon arrival, noting it was as good as any they'd encountered, a significant observation given their 21 years of experience running a bike shop. While assembly was generally straightforward, our reviewer felt the manual could definitely benefit from better pictures. They also encountered a misaligned front fender that couldn't be fully straightened, though it fortunately doesn't rub. A crucial piece of advice from this client is to apply a small amount of grease to the seat tube, handlebar tube, and pedals before insertion, a vital step for preventing rust and seizing. The front light and its fender mount were slightly off, the bolt was short, but tightening the nut on the back, not the front Allen wrench, effectively secures it. Even if the light is a bit crooked, its wide pattern remains effective. Our reviewer also found the handlebars weren't perfectly true to the front wheel, a fix requiring slight loosening of two 5mm Allen bolts on the front fork, careful alignment from a seated position, then snugly retightening them. Addressing a dragging front disc brake involved a few steps. First, adjustments at the brake lever using the thumb wheel and adjuster. Then, if needed, an adjuster down at the brake caliper, turning it clockwise until the rotor quieted. In some instances, a tiny loosening of the cable itself might be required, being cautious not to dislodge it. For the hand clamps on the seat post and handlebar to stay tight, our reviewer recommends turning the thumb screw on the opposite side of the handle a turn or so until it's firm to clamp down. Pedals are oppositely threaded and shouldn't be over-tightened. Around 20-30 pounds is sufficient. Taller riders might need to rotate the handlebar controls down for better ergonomic alignment, but only tighten them snugly. They should move slightly in a crash to prevent breakage. The included tools were deemed adequate, even providing a tiny.
If this video helped you out, give it a like and hit subscribe for more. Got thoughts? Drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.